Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Coming to you mostly live from our very isolated and 6-foot minimum distance desert studio in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, it's the Rolling Bad Podcast, number 90. It's May 10th, Mother's Day, and I'm your host, Elric Orcs is the Best Edge. With me today is Bill.
I'm a Taupublican. Costello.
Oh, God.
You like that?
Yeah.
I like Taupublicans.
How does that work? A Tau plus Republican.
You just have to embrace your inner fascist. So. What? Okay, so maybe that wasn't fair, but, you know, I'm just saying.
Oh, you're embracing the greater good as long as the greater good is capitalism.
Well, as long as it's the greater good from my point of view,
I'm
I'm totally down with it.
okay.
When you start doing that, hey, I want some of your greater good, get the hell out of my house.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Fair enough. As long as we got that established.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't realize this was episode 90.
Can you believe that? We're 10 away from 100. Of course, we're 110 away from 200. I mean, you can put it into perspective, I guess.
And we're 45 away from being halfway to where we are now. 45 over to being halfway currently when we were there before.
Yeah, okay. That's some weird math.
Yep. Time is a relative thing, Bill.
Yes, it is.
Today, in today's episode, we will be talking about Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing, isn't
A
it?
game we haven't played. And Bill, when's the last time we played Age of Sigmar?
Oh, dear gosh. Well, I played Warcry this week.
Doesn't
Is that
count.
AoS?
Nope.
No, that's
I don't wanna hear
straight
about Warcry.
AoS. It's been probably 4 or 5 months.
I literally don't remember the last game of AoS I played.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy, terrible, bad.
Wow.
Screw you, COVID.
Yeah, it was pretty rough, man.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty rough.
I'm not digging it.
5 out of, or was it 2 out of 7?
Yeah.
Would not recommend.
Not recommend.
Yeah.
Thumbs down.
COVID is like kids. It's not for everybody.
That's right. Wow. But you should tell them what we're really going to talk about.
Okay, well, we have a couple of things. This typo is killing me, Bill.
One.
Summer Slaughter is Cannex.
Canceled, yeah. We're not supposed to get to that yet. Give them the broad overview of the show.
The broad, oh my God.
What are we talking about?
Well, we're going to talk about what we've been up to in the hobby, because despite not playing the game,
We
have been hobbying our butts off.
Yeah.
And we want to promote a little bit of something from a good buddy of ours. GW did finally do an announcement today.
Yeah.
A teaser to a teaser.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty cool, especially if I'm sure you're pretty hyped about it.
A little. Yep. But what are we going to talk about?
Oh, the lore? You want to talk about lore? Oh, well, okay. So,
God, you're going through like this 90-foot overview. God.
Why not?
Dive down, man. Dive down. What's the lore about?
So we'll do our White Dwarf recap.
Yeah.
Because that's fun.
Temporal distortion.
Or temporal distortion. And then this little release got dropped last Thursday.
Yeah, I think so.
A little book. Some of the people on Twitter have been talking about it. Soulbound.
Yeah. Way overhyped.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, we're going to discuss Soulbound, which I'm sure everybody else is going to do.
But
we don't care.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it because we're excited.
That's right.
And you're not completely enamored with it.
Well, we're going to do this in a good cop, bad cop.
Oh, okay.
Sort of thing. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Trust me.
Yeah.
So, in just regular news and notes for the intro, I saw the other day that Summer Slaughter was officially canceled, which is a damn shame for the guys out there, the Basement Wargamers. But like everything else, I'm kind of waiting for the shoe to drop on Nova. I think they're holding out a lot of hope that we'll be back to a measured new normal at that point.
August?
Yeah, and August, September. Yeah.
I don't want to say anything. But.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's we'll find out. But I mean, if we have a year without the big three, we might as well just.
Well, we had
LVO. That's right.
That
was before the. Yeah, and that just might be the next thing that we have because I don't know. I'm not going to start spitballing because that's how rumors get started, and that's a bad thing.
Well, and it's also unfortunately become a very divisive topic.
Yeah.
When it really shouldn't be. But
it's even if everything is opened up and things are back to the new normal at that point, how many people are going to want to put themselves into that situation? So I'm not going to presuppose. I'm not going to call it. I don't want to come down on a side. I know what I believe, but, I don't want to speak out of turn.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't want to be divisive. I just don't feel like it's the right thing to be talking about in this venue.
Remember the good old days when people used to give each other death threats over whether or not you like Star Wars movies?
Yeah.
Instead of, a virus that literally kills people.
So simplistic. I'll tell you what.
The good old days.
If you're against having Nova with full-blown 10,000 people, I'm going to kill you.
Well, all right.
All right, how's that?
Fair enough. Well, yeah. I watched a YouTube video.
Uh-oh.
And never mind. Better watch it before they take it down.
Yeah.
The truth. Anyways, good Lord.
There is no truth. Another announcement. We did a show recently on video bat wraps.
We did.
And we said that, if someone out there wants to do that, we'll let you jump in and we'll just take 50%.
Yeah.
So we have a taker.
Yep. Our good buddy Zach up in Greeley, Colorado, has started his own bat reps.
Yes.
Now, when this show drops, he may not have his first. They just recorded their first battle.
Yeah.
Him and our friend of the show, nemesis of the show, arch nemesis.
Our evil nemesis.
Is not the Tuma, Randy. Him and Randy got in their first battle. Now he just gets to do the super fun part of it all. Editing.
Yeah.
Uploading it to YouTube or whatever venue he's going to use.
That's right.
YouTube. So when that is finally a thing, we will definitely promote it.
Sure. We will definitely give all the info, but it's coming down the pike.
Yeah, we're just trying to get a little hype going for it.
Get the hype train moving.
Plus it puts pressure on him to get it done.
Yeah, the Great Northern Butt Hat Productions.
Batwings are us.
Yeah, I know. Inside jokes. Those are terrible. But, yeah. So we're glad to see that he's jumping into that with both feet.
Both feet and a bald head.
Yeah. And we can always use more bat reps. So,
Indeed.
Yeah. So that was kind of it for the intro. We can move on to the jam-packed New Dawn segment. Right?
No, it's not particularly jam-packed either, is it?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. That's right.
There's some big news.
Yes.
But let's just roll into it. Whatever.
Roll it.
So, first things okay, let's do it this way. First things first, the online store is opening up.
Yay!
You finally get your goodies.
God, thank you.
Also, it's been explained to me that GW stores themselves will be able to open to do curbside service.
Right.
So you still can't go inside the store, but the manager can bring you whatever you need.
Mm-hmm.
If the manager is comfortable opening.
Right.
So not all stores will open.
Yes,
I'd imagine most of them will, but you may have the occasional one where the owner still feels they might be in a hot spot or whatever.
Well, and local ordinances might say
that's true too.
Not no, but hell no. So
exactly, and
yeah,
apparently that's like a Games Workshop top-down order is that
you have to follow the local.
Yeah, there will be no more. So that's very cool. Means that the spice must flow finally,
and you can have stuff shipped to the store if you have a local store.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Then Games Workshop. And this, I think, is very cool. For some stupid reason, this has been a very divisive decision by them, which I just think shows how petulant some people in our community can be. They released a very cool catechin model that they are giving to all independent retailers, various numbers, and that number has been from, well, they're only going to get one because Games Workshop hates everybody, to I've physically seen some stores get 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're one a store, I think I'm going to throw the BS card down on.
Pretty much.
And Games Workshop gave them that away for free.
Yes.
And stores are allowed to sell that for whatever they want in an attempt to help them.
Yeah, it's pure profit.
Yeah. So a lot of stores have been doing raffles, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Some have even been doing giveaways.
Yep.
They are giving the model away just to get their name out and buzz and everything. And I've seen some stores just sell it for what they feel the retail would be.
Right.
Which, whatever. Everybody's allowed to do what they want. That's the way this works. But I know the model's been going for like $200, $250 on eBay already.
Wow. You're kidding me.
Yeah, and it's not just posted with no hits. That's posted and sold.
Wow.
On dozens of different entries. So I think what's really frustrating about this is something Games Workshop is doing specifically to help people. And apparently that's not enough for a lot of these clowns in the community that need to get that chip off their shoulder or just get out of my hobby.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it, man. Like, if that's all you have is negativity, go play something else.
Ninth Agers,
it's not. I mean, this is 40K, so.
Well, I mean, the same thing applies.
But, man, there are some vitriolic, whiny out there that just need to keep your mouth shut, man. You don't need to put your opinion on everything.
Well, no, they do. It's a thing. As long as they have an avenue to be reasonably anonymous and be stupid, now by God, look at us.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I thought this was a really cool thing that Games Workshop did.
It is. And there's no other really way to cut that out. They're putting out a model for free to the stores, to the managers, to the retail places to make a tiny little bit of help in what is an otherwise really crappy situation. And yet you still have people out there who are looking for the dark in the cloud.
Yep.
And you know what? If that's you, if you're just that negative about everything, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry your life sucks.
Yeah. Anyways, what I'm hoping they do, what I'm hoping this is a limited release that they did to help stores. Mm-hmm. And then maybe next year or in 18 months or whatever, we get a re-release of Astra Militarum.
Yeah.
And they redo catechins or whatever they're going to do, and they re-release this model.
Yeah.
And that would give all these stores the opportunity to make the money now.
Yep.
That they need to get a boost going, get the ball rolling. And then later they could make money again off the model. Because people are still going to want to buy the crap out of it.
But everybody can get their hands on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Especially if you release that along with the catechin update.
Oh, God.
That'd be awesome. Man.
Oh, my gosh.
I'd get in on it. I love the catechins, but their models are just so dated.
You got to look at even just production times. They've had this one in the bank for a while.
Well, yeah, this was a what do they call it when they do a little sneak preview snapshot? The
rumor engine?
Yeah, the rumor engine.
Okay.
It was that rumor engine pick from like months ago.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, very cool.
Yep, I thought so. I thought it was very, very, very cool. And then today...
Yeah.
They warmed the cockles of my little heart with a video all about the Silent King. Necron's baby.
For the next Psychic Awakening book.
Pariah. Yeah.
So
May 23rd looks like a date that should be marked down because they're saying something. I don't want to commit them to anything because we all know how fluid everything is in the world these days. But they're talking about May 23rd as a date that should be remembered. So that's a couple of weeks from now. I think they're thinking maybe, a lot of the world will be back in some semblance of, people can get their hands on it if they
Yeah,
order
at
it.
least shipping will be.
Yeah, so that might be the book. It might be the book and the model. It might be, I don't know.
Well, we've already seen a new Necron model.
Yeah.
So this seems to be more, which
Yes.
would be interesting because all this Psychic Awakening stuff, all we've gotten with any of it, now there's a bad thing, I'm not trying to undermine it, but has been a book with a model. So we got like Mephiston, we got Shadow Sun.
Yeah.
So it's been like one character.
There's been like a big character that came out.
Gazgul.
And
Ragnar.
what's his name? Well, and the Prophecy of the Wolf box set came
Yeah,
out.
but the other models in there were existing.
Yeah,
It's the new
I'm sorry, I'm
characters.
not trying to derail your thought.
So, and then the very
Yes, I
first
am.
one was Blood of the Phoenix, where we got these
Yeah.
two sweet. Well, actually, we got the two sweet new Phoenix Lords and the new Incubi.
Yeah,
and
the Incubi and
Howling Banshees.
Howling Banshees.
Yeah,
Yep.
plastics, which is awesome. I didn't realize. Side note, because our buddy Ryan was talking about wanting to do new shows, and an army that he was kind of interested in at first was Eldar, and I went through the site to look at the kits, and there's still so much fine cast.
Oh my
in
God!
that
Yes.
line, which is really unfortunate. But
Yes.
again, it is cool though to see like the Howling Banshees. There's
Yeah.
a plastic kit,
Yep.
multi-part. So hopefully we get that with.
We'll start seeing more and more striking
Yeah.
scorpions and
Good Lord,
warp spiders.
warp spiders. Wow, fire dragons or
Yeah.
flame.
Fire dragons.
Yeah, fire dragons. Anyways,
I have a ton of warp spiders that are metal.
yeah,
Ugh.
that's an ancient model.
Yes, it is.
But maybe this Necron addition to the Psychic Awakening will actually be a big boost to that army as far as new models.
God, I hope so. I mean, even if they just do, I don't think they're going to do, I doubt do a Silent King model, but I mean, just that Illuminor Zuras is,
that
model
so
is
cool.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll be happy with just that. But if they want to throw more at me, you know what? Here, take my money.
There's definitely something building up for 40K.
Mm-hmm.
So,
We are approaching a cliff, I believe.
yep.
And we're going to go happily over it in a cool little barrel.
A
made
red
of-
Red Rider. What is it? Wagon.
A red
red-
flyer.
Yeah, Red Flyer. Like Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
Right over the cliff. So good.
Radio flyer.
There's the
Sorry.
one.
I couldn't. I was like, it's not red flyer.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Sorry you didn't answer in the form of a question.
Damn it. But Alex, I was right.
Yeah.
Don't care. So, yeah, that's the announcement that they made. Silent King returns. As far as this week goes, they're still planning on doing the normal schedule on Twitch, which is the Hangout and Hobbies. Plus, they have the Breakfast Hangout and Hobby and the Hobby Clinic and the Black Library
Yeah, it seems
show.
like the UK is still pretty much under lockdown. Like
Well,
they're not going to lift anytime.
I think, they've said that the production stuff, they're having to deal with the social distancing thing, even, in their facilities, their warehouses and production. So
Right.
they've got, I think 25% of their people back to work, and that's going to start ramping up over the next coming weeks. So, things are starting to recover, I think. We are starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, so.
Yeah.
Did you see?
You
You
and
seen
me
that
both.
meme that when you see the light at the end of the tunnel and then it goes down and it's Vader holding from the Rogue One bit? Yeah, that's 2020.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Speaking of Vader from Solo, I was watching a video last night talking about the biggest movie flops of all time.
uh-oh.
The ones that actually lost a ton of money.
Uh-huh.
And I think Solo was number 2 or 3 on that list of movies that lost money.
Really?
It's the only Star Wars entry that has ever not made over $750 million worldwide. All of the others have made $1 billion worldwide, and they're crap.
Solo was really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the thing is, I thought Solo was pretty good, but when they talk about all the things that the production went through, it's like, wow, that's just so sad that it was such a flop outside of, the Star Wars fandom. So,
Yeah, that's weird.
yeah, it's a shame,
Especially
actually.
considering how bad Star Wars is.
Well, I think they started to realize that with Solo that when you look at it, the only thing that's outside of the central storyline is the Mandalorians.
And Rogue One.
And Rogue One, yeah. Well, that's actually even inside
Yeah, technically. You know? Well, then technically Solo would be too.
Yeah, it's in the saga thing, but yeah, I think people are just burned out on you trying to tell me the same story freaking through 3 movies every single release. I'm tired of it myself. I mean, they're actually challenging my fandom.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Well, I know that the guys who did Game of Thrones got greenlit to do a trilogy, and that's why they crapped all over Game of Thrones on their way out. And then Disney came around and said, no, actually, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was sweet justice.
Yes, that was beautiful.
And then they told Rian Johnson, love him or hate him, that he's going to get to do a trilogy set in the universe. And then just read an article.
Just get the hell away from the Skywalkers.
Well, yeah, I can't remember. Who was it that Russo brothers? Somebody big got the green light to do a series of Star Wars movies too. And then it was like, oh, okay, here we go. Like this might be something.
What I would love to see is for them to do a 10th movie in the Star Wars series.
Oh God, yeah. In the Skywalker saga.
In the Skywalker saga. And it opens up with Luke waking up in his bed and realizing all of this was just a bad dream. And the last 3 movies didn't really happen. And, you know, he can take on a new apprentice and actually do something different with his life. No?
Or it could just be a little 5-minute snippet. And it's Jar Jar Binks waking up an unconscious Anakin while he's still a child, right? And him in the middle of a battle. They're like, we got to get out of here, huh? I don't know why he sounds like a New Yorker. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. And it's all been a dream that Anakin had while he was unconscious on a battlefield.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, we do got to get out of here. And then they both get stepped on.
Oh, yeah. By
like
one of the walkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they just roll credits.
Oh, that would be so beautiful.
None of it ever happened.
Oh, God, that would be so beautiful.
It's a 5-minute movie, episode 10, boom.
But, you know, it would bring closure to the whole thing.
It would. It'd make me feel a lot better.
How the hell did we get on Star Wars?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
well, we still got to get out of here. Huh?
Hey, what's the matter for you? Come on. Oh, my God. Okay.
Anyways, wow.
Wow. We are very sorry about that whole thing, but I'm leaving it in.
Or you just have a drop pod land on them, and all of a sudden a bunch of Space Marines get
my
boom crossover.
Speaking of crossovers, Fallout 4.
Oh yeah,
the Sister of Battle mod and the Space Marine mod.
What?
Oh my God, they are so good. Yeah, in Fallout 4 you can get a mod. The first one I saw was for Sisters of Battle, and you want to talk about detail. Whoever did that went off scale high. It is so good. But they also have a Space Marine armor. You know, you can turn your power armor in Fallout 4 into a suit of Space Marine armor. Oh man, it's so much fun. So much fun to be rocking around like a Blood Angel. Anyway.
So really, what you're saying is that you want an open world 40K RPG.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
If only.
If only. I've been so let down by RPGs lately. Foreshadowing. Dun, 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 dun.
God.
Let's move on to creation where we actually have content instead of stupidity.
Yeah.
But we're good at that too.
We're not even doped up on sugar today.
I know.
This
what's
has been
going
a complete
on?
train wreck so far.
I know. What's going on?
It's the COVIDs.
Yeah, it's
the Rona.
Yeah. Hey, Rona, are you outside? We were supposed
Coronavirus. It's getting real.
We getting all up in that.
From that Wuhan, China. Sorry. I've said it before, man. I want it on the record that my girl Cardi B tried to warn us how serious this was long before anybody else.
And I want it on the record that, once again, nobody listened to her, because why?
She's my future wife. Anyways, what have we been building in the hub? What have we been doing? Let's do some creation.
Hey, you know those Pathfinders I started last time?
Yes.
They're all done.
Hey.
And they're primed.
They are. You have a color of paint on
yes.
it, technically.
I have
Dot the
one
I's,
color.
base it, and that is a 3-color minimum.
We got gaming to do. Yep. Yeah. So I started I also primed the, what's the name, Spire Tyrants, because I got tired of playing with them in gray. So now they're white-ish.
Every time I look at them, they slowly become my favorite.
Yeah. Oh,
The Chaos Warcry bands, which is crazy because all those war bands look phenomenal.
They do. They're all so... I hate looking at them because every time I do, I just start looking at stuff on the internet, pictures, and I go, wow, that guy did a great job. I think I can come close. And, it's just...
Yeah.
But actually, having played now with the Spire Tyrants a few times, they are so much fun to play with. And they really don't have a shtick. They don't have, like, a thing. Whereas, Corvus Cabal, they're really good at jumping down on you. Yeah. Some of the other ones are pull you in and make you die. They all have their own little thing. Whereas the Spire Tyrants are just kind of like, hey, we're going to beat your face in because, it's what we do. Nice. And they're so much fun and good at it. And they're very flexible. I love that warband. I really do. I actually lost my first game with them, mostly because I did a couple of dumb things in deployment. And I didn't really think about how I put my groups together. But then when I had my brain back on, turned it back on, the second game, it was just like they were just in perfect sync with each other. And I have to admit, I had some good die rolls, too. So, nice. Very good die rolls. Like 2 turns in a row, I rolled 666. Oh. Yeah, that was scary.
Not bad.
Nope, not at all. Then, what did you do?
I have just been mostly building orcs. Again, and it's probably all I'll ever do in life. So, yeah, I've got 4 Death Dreads now.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Up next is the Killicans. Finished a bunch of some more Storm Boys. Nice. I rebased all that stuff that I picked up from you.
Oh, yeah.
The other week.
Yep.
So it was all on 25s.
Okay, yeah.
And everything is now on 32s, so I had to rebase all of that. And what else have I built? Oh my God. Finally finished that second truck.
Nice.
Finally finished.
You have 2 trucks.
I have 2 trucks now. And I was looking at the third, and I was like, should I just jump in and finish this? Or should I move on to stuff that's not going to make me want to jump into traffic? I decided to go with the latter. And then the other model that I finally finished was the Weird Boy.
Oh, yeah.
And the problem I ran into with him was after I finally got him cleaned up, because it's the fine cast.
Yeah.
Finally got him all cleaned up. And then on his back, he has these chains that come out that 2 grots are hanging on to.
Oh, yeah.
And that was bent all wrong so that it wouldn't actually fit. So I sat there under really hot water and slowly bent it, and then snapped it.
Of course, yeah.
And I was just like, man. So I said, all right, well, fine, I'll make this work in my favor. So it allowed me to actually glue the back piece on without having to worry about that.
Yeah.
And then I slowly worked the chains in the hands of the grots so that they'll sync up.
Yeah.
In some degree. It's a very cool model, but we've known for 15 years that Finecast is garbage.
It's Failcast for a reason.
Yeah. So that was just very frustrating. And I honestly, the metal one couldn't have been much fun either.
No, not really.
But I don't know. It's a sweet model. It's the only one I'll ever build. I will convert the rest of my.
I was going to say, have you ever thought about using the Orc Warchainer as
like everybody else?
Yeah. Like
no, from here on out, that's what I'll use.
Yeah.
Some kind of a converted version of that. Because, I'm glad I have him because he is such a cool looking model.
Yes.
But I will never build another cast model. Good Lord.
I hear you.
So that is all I've been up to building wise. Oh, I finally painted an Iron Jaw.
Nice.
An Ard Boy.
Oh.
I showed that one in the chat. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got a little ahead of myself. I painted him too quickly, and I slathered on too much of the, is it Cassandora? What is the
no, it's the,
I forget the
yellow. Oh, gosh, why can I not?
I can't even remember what it's. Contrast. The yellow contrast paint.
Can't read the name of the label from here.
Iandin
yellow.
what I was wanting to do is on Duncan's channel, his personal channel now, he's not with GW, he paints an Imperial Fist. And he does it in 2 steps. With the yellow, he doesn't slather. He puts it on and in yellow on. And then once that dries, he uses a watered down Averland. I think it's Averland Sunset. I can't remember. I'd have to watch the video again real quick. Takes it, waters it down a little bit, and then he essentially glazes over the yellow. And what that does is because, when you paint something like a Space Marine with contrast, it's big flat surfaces.
Right.
And I ran into the same issue painting the armor on Ardboy, is the pooling gets funky.
Yeah.
And the pooling with that Iandin is a very orange splotch on an otherwise yellow paint.
Yes.
So what this does is, if you're very careful, like Duncan was, it minimizes that splotching, but it also just kind of blends it all together. And what you end up getting is a very smooth yellow that already has the highlights, or it already has the shading done, and essentially the highlights too, really. Yeah. And I unfortunately I was a little too hasty. I just wanted to paint him up and see how it would look. So I did get some heavy pooling. So I'm going to do it again. I primed a bunch of them, so I'm going to try it again when I have a little more time and be a little more patient with it. Maybe even put a little bit of the Lamian medium in to thin it down, go from there.
Yep.
And and maybe start painting up some of my Iron Jaws finally, because I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
The only thing I wasn't happy with was I used Apothecary White on like the horns and stuff, and I'm not a fan of Apothecary White.
Really?
Yeah, it just didn't look like it was painted.
No, sometimes when you put it over Wraithbone, it almost doesn't look like you changed it all, except for you have enough of that gray in the recesses, I think, that it really, it's so hard to take, because I like the way it works. Yeah. I loved it on my Epidemius, because it painted white and had the shadow that I could never get, even thinning out my shadows so much. They just seemed to knock the white back so much. So having that in the arsenal, I thought, was such a great deal.
Well, I've seen there's a painter by the name of Juan Hidalgo.
Oh,
and he does these videos called Contrast Masterclass. And it's a model that he paints primarily using contrast. It's not full contrast. And he tries to paint it to the highest level possible to show what contrast is really capable of. And he does a Sister of Battle of the Sacred Rose. I can't remember the name. The one that's all white armor.
The ones,
And that's what he uses, was Apothecary White. And then he takes Skull White and cuts it down with medium and does like this glaze effect to even it out.
Yeah.
And it worked really well there. But for some reason, maybe it's also the spots that I'm painting it on are so small. Because it's just like his tusks.
Oh, yeah.
And whatnot. So maybe I'd be better off using the Skeleton Horde or something with a little more color, and it might make it stand out better.
Pop a little bit, yeah.
So that was really the only thing, that and the pooling effect that I got from the yellow, just because I used too much too fast.
Yeah,
which is what you're going to get with contrast when you're not.
If you're not careful.
Yeah, you're not patient. I think contrast is really good. It's kind of like a side note. It's not, obviously, we've talked about how it doesn't do what it was kind of marketed as in the beginning. However, I think it is really good as a beginner paint in that it does teach you brush control.
Yes.
Very quickly, you have to learn brush control with it, because the way it stains the model, if you overbrush or get it into spots that you don't want, it's going to take you a minute to recorrect that, because you kind of got to put the primer back down and start over.
Yep.
So I think for new people, it's a crash. What do they call that?
Crash course.
A crash course in brush control.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, that's just what I've been up to in the hobby.
Good deal. At this point,
are you hesitating on the rant?
I was gonna. Okay, so my rant is going to lead into our next thing that we're going to do, because we decided that in creation, we're going to start highlighting different YouTubers or Instagrammers or Twitterers.
Content creators.
Content creators.
What do they call them? Influencers.
Influencers.
There you go.
There you go.
Community influencers.
Yeah. So we're going to, each one of us is going to shout out a channel or something that we have recently discovered. Or, I mean, we're not talking about the big ones. Everybody knows you can go to Vince's site and channel.
The Honest Wargamer.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah. We're going to hit some of the smaller ones. But you'll see where this goes when you get to my pick. But, okay. Here it comes. GW paint pots.
Yeah.
Yes.
How terrible they are.
Yes, I agree. They are not the best things in the world. Okay?
I'm glad we agree.
However, I have decanted some of my paints into dropper bottles. I mean, the evidence is right there.
Yeah.
And I found that to be an exercise in freaking stupidity.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you know what those dropper bottles do?
What?
Oh, the paint dries up in the little nozzle, and you spend about the same amount of time pushing needles in there to get the paint to come out. And then when it does come out, it squirts all over the place. So those aren't a really great solution either. Period. Full stop. Now, years ago, I put up a video about how to fix the GW paint pots. It's so stupid, I can do it. It's so easy, I can do it. So I know it works.
Okay.
And all I do is slather a little bit of Vaseline in the lip of the pot when I open it.
We're still talking about GW paint, right?
Yeah, GW paint. Stop it. You just made it go PG-13. But you slather a little bit of Vaseline on the top. It completely seals it. You no longer have dried paints. Everything is over. You don't have to decant it into 5,000 little bottles and then talk about how cool you are for decanting all your GW stuff because, oh my God, their paint pots are so bad. Yes, we know that. Take the easy approach. Damn it. Do it the easy way.
Oh, okay.
It's not that much of a rant. And I mean, I know some people like...
Nobody got thrown into an airplane.
No, this is not anything.
Man.
No one deserves an airplane propeller to the head for this. I mean, if you want to decant the process because it looks cooler on your shelf, yeah, you're right. You know, and one of the things I hate about the GW pots, beyond the fact that they're the GW pots, is that you have to have a different method of storing them for all time. They don't fit in the same slot that every other paint has seemed to have said, hey, let's use these kind of standard bottles because, well, it fits.
They're the lightning cable in the USB world.
Yes, exactly. And, you know, if anything, if GW when they finally come up with dropper bottles, if they make them a different size.
Of course they will.
And you know they will.
Of course
I'm just going to lose my... Same thing that P3, you know, Privateer Press did is, you know, let's make our bottles different from everyone else's so that your solution to carry or store the paints is now screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate them with... I'll rant against P3 and GW for making crazy sized pots that don't fit on my shelf the way I want them to.
You know what you could do?
No, what?
Because I'm an ideas guy here, Bill.
You say decant them in a dropper bottles, I'm going to hit you.
No. You could buy the GW paint storage system that conveniently holds all the GW paints. It's almost like they thought about doing that for you. Just for you, Bill.
What a bunch of guys.
Yeah, what a bunch of...
I'm sorry.
What a bunch of guys and gals.
I didn't mean to rant. You guys
what a bunch
are
of
awesome.
Real people.
And that was your fanboy moment.
Yeah.
All right, so on that little sort of not much of a rant, but a tiny little rant, let's take a quick break because I think our dinner is ready, or our lunch is ready.
Yeah.
So when we broke for lunch, I showed you the latest James Workshop video. 10 minutes of the same 2-minute video repeated 5 times.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. I was expecting some big payoff at one of the, you know, the 4th or the 5th one, and no, they got me.
Community team might be a little bored.
Yeah. So we were about to move on to our shout-outs for influencers. Did you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Go for it.
Okay, I will go. And I want to call out Darcy Bono Creations. To find her on Instagram and all the other places, just go for Darcy, DARCY _Bono, BONO _creations. I won't spell that. She's on Instagram. She just put out another YouTube video this morning or yesterday. She is an amazing painter. Look through her Instagram and wow, her stuff is just amazing. It's so good. So good. And she has a YouTube channel where she shows stuff. Not a ton of videos on there, and it's been like before the one she did yesterday, it was like a year. But hopefully she's getting back into that. But I mean, it's definitely worth a follow on Twitter and Instagram because her work is stunningly good.
Nice.
So, yeah. Yep. And this morning, or she put out a video yesterday about how to clean the gunk off of GW paint pots, you know, this is how it tied into my rant.
Oh, okay.
You know, when all that acrylic gets all gummed up in the top and it's really annoying and it's all caked on there and
Yeah, I noticed it's not so much of an issue with the newest pots. They used to be like the bolt round ones or whatever.
Yeah, it was really bad. These seal a little bit better, but it still gunks up in there when you give them a good shake and it drops down and, you know, it doesn't really clear it that well. But she's got a cool little way of just pulling the top off the pot. You know, that ring that separates and just dunk the whole thing in hot water. Not too hot, not too cold, but yeah, watch the video. She'll show you how to do it. So it's good stuff. Anyway, that was my shout out. Yours?
Nice. Okay, well, I'm going to do two quick ones.
Two?
You sprung this on me last minute, so I didn't have a chance to do a lot of research. They're both people that I've talked about before. One I just talked about, and that is Juan Hidalgo.
Oh, yeah, he's so good.
So he has a YouTube channel that I would strongly suggest checking out. And he's also on Patreon. You can support him there if you want. Nothing that he provides is behind a paywall, so you can still see everything he does. But being part of the Patreon allows you to like talk to him about stuff he does, or also suggest future videos, stuff you'd like to see, things like that.
Yeah,
so,
I love those where they give you their stuff, but you know, you're basically paying because they're putting out good stuff.
Right. Yeah, and you can also, he has a Discord page that you can get in on and actually talk to him and some other people. So yeah, definitely, I would definitely check at least his videos out.
Mm-hmm. He's very good.
And then the other one that I want to give a quick shout out to, assuming my phone wants to play with me here, is Dan C. And he is at the Tyromancer on Twitter, all one word. And he's the guy that did my Maw-Krusha conversion. And now that I'm actually throwing some paint on my iron jaws, I think once I get the concept and everything, once I get comfortable with it and start seeing the results that make me comfortable, I would like to paint that model because it looks flippin' amazing.
Yeah.
The conversion that he did where it's coming down, smashing the ground with its vest and roaring is just, it's so cool. So,
he makes that Maw-Krusha look.
Yeah, he does conversions with the Maw-Krusha. He does with other stuff too, but that was like kind of his big thing there for a while on Twitter was he did well over a dozen different conversions, and he sells them, you know, or you can send him a Maw-Krusha and he'll convert it up for you, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so definitely check him out at the Tyromancer, Tyro Mancer on Twitter.
Cool. And I'll put the links in the show notes for all those.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah. So, just some shout-outs for the community that are creating.
Actually, let's do another one. I want to throw this one out there, too. What's wrong, Bill? Oh, you get to add all your fun little shout-outs to every single episode. Steamroll over me. You're going to love this one.
Anyway, so moving on to...
Our buddy, Steve Fudd, if you did not see this on Twitter over the weekend, did a 28 mil Dreadfleet recreation on the roof of a building. My God. That is some of the coolest stuff I have ever seen. He recreated the ships from Dreadfleet.
Yes.
At the size they would be for Age of Sigmar.
Right.
They all had actual crews on them. And he played using the Dreadfleet rules just scaled up.
Yeah.
to 28 mil.
Yeah, scaled up.
Some of the coolest looking stuff I've ever seen.
Steve is.
And he also has a Patreon, too.
Yes, Footworks.
Footworks. And
he's constantly in our links. He doesn't come off of our links that have to be seen. So
cool.
Yeah, he's
just give him a shout out. And definitely that project. Very, very cool.
The man is amazing.
So
he is amazing. It boggles my mind. Where does he find the time to do his day job in addition to all these projects that he does and helps people out and answers their questions about this, that, and the other thing?
My guess is, there's a lot of people that, like, when they're at work and you just kind of daydream or whatever, a lot of people like daydream about lists or concepts of a list or something like that. And they kind of memorize the points so that they can put it together in their head. He's probably the guy that sits there and thinks about conversion ideas and stuff like that instead of points and all that. So that's probably what it is. He's sitting there driving a bus full of people, daydreaming, looking up at the sky. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that went south fast. Not the bus. I mean,
yeah.
The idea.
That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Or he wakes up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And has to scramble out of bed and just
has to go hobby.
Madman. Yeah. Dr. Frankenstein style.
I like it. One of the two.
And then if I can give another shout, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to say we're going to shoot our whole wad on one episode.
Yeah.
So, okay. So anyway, it's about time to move on to lore.
The lore segment.
Yes. So, the elephant in the room, the big thing, the new big thing, the thing that I ordered a long time ago and haven't gotten yet, but got the PDF for it.
Okay.
Soulbound, the AoS role-playing game.
Yep.
Brought to you by Cubicle 7. Dun, dun, dun.
Wow.
Yep, that was about my excitement.
What?
No, I'm kidding. I told you we're going to do a good cop, bad cop thing.
Okay.
So at the end, I will summarize how I feel about this. But if I seem to be being the devil's advocate, it's because I'm being the devil's advocate.
Fair enough. So I guess we should start off by saying Thursday, Cubicle 7 put up everything for pre-order. So you can pre-order the regular copy of the book, which is $60. You can
it's $59.99.
Is it Oh God! All right. You can pre-order the collector's edition, which I think was $120 or $110,
slightly more.
Was it? How much was it?
No, I think it was $120.
Yeah,
or $119.99.
Did you get that?
I do not buy collector's editions for role-playing stuff because I use it.
Yeah, I hesitated on it. Yeah. I was like, man, this would be the one that I would get. And then I was like, no, it's kind of pointless because
they revise it a lot. And, they do that same thing with 40K stuff. But, it's just, I'm going to use this book. I don't want to have a primo edition.
Yeah, I went with the regular one, too.
Yeah, I got the regular, the DM screen, the little die box, and the map.
Yeah, they also came out with the GM screen.
Yep.
And a couple of cool little, the flat dice
the
trays or whatever
trays.
you want to call them, where they like pinch up at the edges.
Yep.
There's two different ones of those. Now, if you purchased either the collector's edition or the regular edition of the rule book, it gave you the PDF version that you just go over to drivethroughrpg.com to redeem. And the PDF alone was $30.
Yeah.
So just spending, I swear to God, Bill. So buying the regular copy, you're not going to get it potentially for a while.
Well, I mean, shipping is hitting them just like everybody else.
Right.
I mean, it's not their fault.
But what it does is it allows you to still, because that day you could get the PDF. Well, you could get in line for the PDF. It took a moment, but I think we all got ours. So and then unfortunately, the DM screen, if you pre-order that, it does come with a PDF for an adventure.
Yes.
But unfortunately, the adventure is not ready yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know when that will be available, hopefully very soon, so that people can get an idea of not only how this system works, because there are some unique mechanics to it, also it will give you an opportunity to get an idea of what running an adventure in the Mortal Realms would be like. So hopefully that's available soon.
Yeah.
So we both pre-ordered ours.
Oh, let me tell you about how stupid I am.
Oh, bless.
You remember way, 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 way back when they announced that they were going to do Soulbound and they opened it up for pre-orders?
Sure.
And I pre-ordered it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you remember Thursday when they say, hey, everybody, you can now pre-order all the stuff. Wouldn't that be grand?
Did you buy it twice, Bill? Well, hey.
No, I didn't. I actually caught myself before I committed and stopped myself from buying the book again.
Okay.
What I did do was buy the PDF again. So I completely forgot that I had all I had to do was like click on the link and
here's your free download of the Soulbound PDF.
Yeah, so.
Well, bless your heart.
Yeah. So I gave them, $59.99 plus $29.99 twice. So I should get a collector's edition out of that.
There you go. Send them a message.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll just laugh and go, well, you're an idiot. We can prove it. So.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we started digging into that.
So give me your initial reaction to the book, the PDF. Unfortunately, we don't have a physical book.
I'll say the book because it's going to, the book is going to be. Can I talk about the things I hate?
You know what, Bill?
No.
You do you.
Okay.
Talk to me.
So.
If you want to be like one of those guys and start everything off negatively, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. That's what everybody came here for, was to hear Bill complain. Go ahead.
Full ninth age.
Yep. In a world where everybody's already dealing with plenty of negative, let's shovel yours on top of it. Go ahead. The road's paved for you.
All right.
Hit me with your hashtag first world problems.
You betcha. So any book where the first 15 pages are all pictures drives me nuts. Okay. Any book that's like, I forgot how many pages it is completely. Let me go to the...
It's like 270 some.
Yeah. Of which probably 33% of those are either full-page pictures or half-page pictures. Drives me up a wall when you release it in PDF format like that.
Okay.
The production quality on this book is over the top amazing. All the pictures, all the graphics. It is such a beautifully presented book. And what I really love is in all the margins, they have call-outs to the pages where the applicable rules, or if they say, hey, you have to do this test to do this action, in the margin it points you to the page where the information for that test is.
Yeah.
Super nice. It keeps you from having to flip around the index all the time, especially in the PDF format. That's wonderful. It is beautifully put together. I just truly love it. It shows that they spent a lot of time polishing it because, like I said, it is beautiful. It's gorgeous. But, damn, there's... Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually 352 pages.
Yeah, it's a big, big book. So you're definitely, there's nothing slouchy in here. It's a well-made book.
Well, I will say that one thing that it does frustrate me a little bit is how long it takes to load.
I'm wondering if you saw the same thing, because even on my big iPad, I noticed it takes time to resolve each page.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
But it's a big book. It's, there's a lot of needless graphic. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not going to quit harping on that. It's, you get to before you get to creating a character, you're on page 18. The first, 17 pages are just table of contents and a little bit of fluffy, hey, we're going to roleplay in the Mortal Realms. Won't that be cool?
The way it's saved in my thing is it says Age of Sigmar Soulbound Core Book, 2005.
Really?
Yeah.
2005. Boy, I bet they missed something on that one.
Unless they knew something before Games Workshop did.
Yeah. We foresee.
Yeah. Anyways, not counting the play testers or the illustrators, there's over a dozen people that worked on this to some degree.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know how big Cubicle 7 is in total, but I do know that at the same time they were doing this, they were redoing Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay.
Yes.
They're also redoing
Wrath and Glory.
They also do the Doctor Who game.
They do so many games. I mean, they do so many games.
Yeah,
It's
and the
crazy.
One Ring. And I think
The Middle-earth role-playing game.
Yeah, they got another one in there. Yeah, the One Ring is the Middle-earth one.
Yeah.
They might have another one in there. But for a while, when they were kind of hyping Soulbound, a lot of content was coming out, especially for the One Ring. They put out quite a bit for the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay.
Oh, yeah.
So that could also be why it took so long. You know?
Yeah.
This is just a smaller studio.
Oh, I'm not, you know me, I'm not knocking them. I think what you get is definitely worth the money.
Yeah. Well, and like a lot of people said, I'm willing to wait for it to be really good.
I said that too. I mean, I would much rather have them take this long and put out a product that looks like this than, you know, back in December have a pretty shoddy, black and white PDF with a couple of pictures and a lot of typos. So I'd much rather have what they delivered.
Despite the fact that you're complaining about it.
Yeah, that's my fun is I'm playing the bad cop.
I know.
You know?
So my initial reaction is, obviously it looks fantastic, right? It's a beautiful book. And one of the things that also has me very excited is the sheer amount of background that's available in it. And that's one thing that people kind of complained about with the Free People's Army book. Was that it didn't really go into the different cities. It didn't really go into the different unit types and stuff. And I think you're going to be able to flesh a lot of that out with not only this book, the core book, but everything else that comes out for this game. Because it talks a lot about the different elves, not just the Sylvaneth and the Daughters of Cain, but the other elves that exist within Azerheim and whatnot. Even though there aren't Dwarden that are playable, that aren't Caradhran or Fire Slayers, it does talk about Dwarden that exist within Azerheim and in the Mortal Realms in general, and humans and stuff as well, which is really cool. So, and I haven't even really, I just wanted to move on to the mechanics of the game and see how it worked, because I'll be running the campaign for our group. So I wanted to learn that, and I've been saving the narrative stuff for later to kind of sink my teeth into and really read. So, I mean, I'm just talking about the stuff that popped out to me right away going through whatnot. So there's, 23 playable, they call them archetypes.
Yeah, archetypes.
And those are the different character types that you can play, ranging from Sylvaneth to Daughters of Cain, Caradhran to Fire Slayers.
With a little bit of digging, I think anybody could find something that tickles their fancy.
Right.
And like I said, I called dibs on the witches. The
hags.
Yeah, the hag or the witch. I'm not sure which one, but...
And if you actually... They have rules in there to create other things.
Yes.
So if you really want to play... Jesus. I'm trying to think of an order army that's not readily available in the book.
I don't know about... I mean, there's a lot of things, like there's not a lot of... I mean, I think the archetypes that are there right now are fantastic templates for anything you want to do.
Yeah.
You can just basically change the name a little bit and almost everything fits. But it's such an easy framework to work anything into. And heck, even in their character creation, you're free to basically build anything you want. You don't have to stick with one of these archetypes if you don't absolutely want to. You can kind of see where it's very, I mean, it's not spelled out specifically, But you can see how it would be very, very easy to just design a framework built around something that's in here and make anything you want.
Definitely. It's appears to be a pretty fluid system.
Yes. Except for I want to say two things real quick.
Okay.
One of which is if you're any kind of a narrative AoS player, scenario maker, anything to do with the narrative side, this book, or at least the PDF, the $30 PDF, is well worth your investment just for the lore that's in it to help you flesh out whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah.
It's an amazing resource already, and it's, a week old. It's a few days old.
Exactly.
And then next, I want to talk Bad Cop.
Okay.
Freaking Stormcast Eternals.
Okay, yeah.
Screw them.
Really?
I will not play in a game that includes any Stormcast Eternal players.
Wow.
Not only are they the narcissistic SOBs, they think I got to be better than everybody else, but they are the typical min-maxers. I got to be the best. I got to be the best. I got to have the armor and the magic and the stuff. I got to have all this stuff. And just because I screw the party because we don't get any Soulfire points, I don't care. I'm better than you. Yeah, I'm not going to play with those people. They're idiots.
Line in the sand.
Yeah, there's rant part 2.
Okay. Yeah, you were telling me earlier that you think there might be some imbalances here.
No, actually, I mean, we haven't played it, and I don't want to say that. The Stormcast are very, very powerful, but they do come with a couple of drawbacks, one of which is they don't contribute anything to the party, which is what you would assume somebody that works for Sigmar is going to be that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's why I won't play with them. People that honestly decide to role play and, by the way, I want to screw my neighbors and the people that I'm supposed to be playing with.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to play actively against them. Yeah. Go ahead, thief. I'm just having fun. Oh,
man.
Come on. Yeah, the Stormcast players or archetypes are very, very strong.
Yeah.
Very strong.
Yeah.
And very focused and limited in what they can do.
Now, one thing that I did find interesting with them is their special racial ability is they're immortal.
Yeah.
If they die, they come back. Now, it talks about how when they come back, you have to talk with the GM because it could take a couple days to reforge. It could take years to reforge.
And you might not be the same.
Yep. So I think they do have some pretty cool mechanics that revolve around that. There's actual reforging rules.
Yeah.
As far as being able to pick up new,
we'll
call them abilities, attributes or whatever from reforging. Which I think that's pretty cool. Now, as far as like going with a party, my initial thoughts, again, obviously neither of us have played it, so we haven't seen how it actually works out, but it does feel similar to playing like an Inquisitor band. Yeah. And one player being a Space Marine.
Right.
And I could tell you from a balance issue that's a problem. As somebody who has run the old 40K role-playing games, having somebody in the party that is just a cut above the rest makes it very difficult for the other. It makes it hard to balance as a game master, and it can also make it difficult for everybody to have fun.
Right.
Because everybody rolls initiative. Okay. The regular guardsman or whatever, the assassin does his thing, misses. The tech adept does his thing. It doesn't really do whatever. And then the Space Marine goes and kills half of the enemy. Mm-hmm. And the other guys are just kind of like,
great.
Okay. And it's just, I don't know. It's a problem that I always ran into with that stuff. Now,
well, two things I can see here is if you have a party of all Stormcast, you're all going to have a blast because you're all on that same playing field. The other thing, too, is if you have a party with one Stormcast Eternal, they are going to be, as they should be, the meat shield. They are going to be the one that's standing out there and basically with their golden armor drawing everything to them because they are the biggest threat by far.
Yeah.
When in reality, pure power-wise, they might, it goes back to that whole thing of a melee character can deal with one thing at a time. I mean, sometimes they can swing twice or cleave something, or a group of people, but basically they're point-and-shoot weapons. Whereas, your mage, your battle mages, your hags, your priestesses, all, some of the other, the fire callers, they could be affecting the entire group of enemies while that Stormcast is soaking up attacks.
Sure.
So, I mean, they definitely have a place in a party as long as, and again, mechanically, we don't know if they're going to run away with it, but.
Well, I think another thing, too, is also, it might be a bad comparison of this to like the old 40K stuff in that this, Stormcast were always a part of this in the development.
Yeah.
And so the game is going to be designed where hopefully they are in line with everything else. Whereas the old 40K stuff was just so wildly different. It was impossible to balance Death Watch with Rogue Trader, with Dark Heresy characters. Like they were all just different power levels. know. So hopefully, that won't be too much of an issue because I know, in our group, some people definitely want to play Stormcast right off the bat. So you won't be a part of our group.
I was gonna say, let me figure out who Andrew,
Zach.
Randy, Zach. Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
No, I'm kidding.
So you can hate them, and that's the one cool thing that I saw was that the party doesn't have to like each other.
You're bound to. I love the mechanic where you're all bound together. You're a party. You're a group, and we should probably back up a little bit and say the way parties are formed in this game is you have basically your own character sheet, as well as you have a party sheet, and your party has goals, short-term goals and long-term goals, and that's how you gain experience and i.e. level up. So the party basically has to work toward those goals. But you don't have to like each other. And it draws me back to the whole, the audiobooks for Gotrek Gunnison. They are a party of people that have a goal. They can't stand each other. They hate each other. But they also understand that this has to get done. So they're doing it. And it's, to me, the role-playing opportunities here are flipping huge. Yeah. So I can, I
think a perfect example, like if you're new to this kind of stuff, is to listen to the Spear of Lamentation book, or we'll read it, whatever. That is a perfect example of a party who is forced to work together, but they don't all like each other.
No.
So...
And it's, to me, the opportunities presented by this framework are so vast. Yeah. And so much fun. I mean, you can go from a party of all fire slayers and having a blast, or a party of all Stormcast and having fun, and a party of all witches, or, you can have that crazy mix across the board of weird specialized talents that work together basically because they have to and role play all those infinite possibilities. So I truly, now I actually don't like it. I keep forgetting I'm the bad cop. I'm not supposed to fanboy.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, it's a very contrived setup to build parties. It's kind of like a throwback to.
Wow. Very unoriginal.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh.
So do we want to get into the mechanics of it? Because I know that you had some concerns with how the mechanics of this game work.
I find dice pool games to be a very inelegant mechanic.
Why?
Basically because I have a natural bias towards D&D and the D20 kind of system.
Okay.
Where you have a bit more granularity that you can artificially play with, but also because dice pools have a tendency to the advancement and the character growth sometimes doesn't have a real impact in the dice pool. So you might go 10, 12, quote unquote, levels without seeing a real change in your ability to do something because your dice pool didn't go up until you reach a certain magic number or you invest in a certain thing. Now, they've ameliorated that with their I forgot what it's called, the focus on a skill and training in a skill. Training gives you an extra die to your die pool, whereas focus allows you to add one to one of the dice after you've rolled it.
Yeah.
And you can have up to 3 training in a skill and 3 focus in a skill. So that allows you to really monkey around. It basically ameliorates that problem with dice pools that I always have. You know, I go back to the old Warhammer Fantasy roleplay thing where you need 2 green dice, 2 red dice, a pink die, a purple die, a black die, and a red die. Roll them all, and if the black die is this, all the other ones don't count. And if the red die is that, all the other ones don't count. But if the 2 purple dice are this, then you can't count the red dice. Oh, for the love of God, shoot yourself in the face. You are crappy game designers.
Wow.
Oh, the people that did the original Warhammer Fantasy roleplay, if I could throat punch every one of them, I certainly would.
Dang.
Probably not tall enough to reach most of them, but that was such a horrifyingly bad system.
I never played first and second. I did play third that Fantasy Flight did.
Yeah.
And I had the dice pool system. But
almost worse than...
Actually, I think the most problematic thing about that game was all the different cards. There was no character sheet. You just had dozens of different sizes, and they were all different sizes.
Of course.
So trying to find sleeves for them was a pain. Yeah,
that was typical Fantasy
very,
Flight.
Very cumbersome game.
Yeah. So honestly, my real thing about a dice pool game is sort of taken away in this one by allowing you to control what your dice pool looks like.
Would you show me on the stuffed giraffe where GURPS touched you?
Oh, God.
Because I feel like there's some bleed over from GURPS here, buddy.
Oh, God.
maybe a little shadow run.
You're right. So if there was a game design that I could go throat punch, it would be GURPS.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That one's
wow.
No bueno.
Yeah.
But this does not seem nearly as convoluted.
No.
As those previously mentioned systems.
And what I like is they folded their mechanic from some of their other games into this one. And it's proven it works. It's a good system.
Yeah.
So you're literally rolling D6s. The GM has determined what the difficulty is and what the level of success is. So it's basically expressed in a couple of numbers, one of which is what you need to roll. So it's going to be a 1 through 6, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then the other number is how many successes you need. So if it's like a 3-2, then you basically need to take whatever your dice pool is. You need to roll them, and you need to score higher than a 3 2 times to succeed in that thing. Now, as it gets more difficult, it might go to a 4-1 or a 4-2, or something nearly impossible would be a 5-2, because you have to roll whatever your dice pool is over than 5 twice. I mean, it can get really weird.
It's 5 or up.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, 5 or up.
4.
Whatever the designated number is.
Yeah, it's that or better.
And up, yeah.
Yeah. So if it's a 2-1, you need to roll higher than a 2 one time.
2 or higher.
Yeah, higher than a 2.
2 or higher.
That's what I said. Higher than a 2. Oh, 2 or higher. I see what you mean.
Wow.
Okay, it's a 2+ one time.
Yeah.
And the other one is a 5+.
Right.
2 times.
Because they do have examples of 6.
Yeah.
6 ones and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You only have to roll 1 6, but
you have to roll it. And your dice pool might only be 3 dice.
Yeah.
Or, you might have a bonus of an extra die from a training or something. But again.
Yeah, it's not likely you'll need a bucket of dice.
No.
For a pool. Like
you'll need a few D6s. And that's the other beauty of this is, what do you need? D6s. Well, should I bring my... No.
Nope,
D6s.
Just D6s.
Well, how do I do damage? You bring a D6.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, there's a part of me that always thinks like, well, what about a D10? Like, because there are some dice pool D10 systems out there. I kind of wonder if maybe that opens up a little of the nuance, but I don't know. The D6s work too.
It goes the same thing with like AoS. Yeah, they could go to a D10, and that would give you a little bit more granularity and allow things to spread out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But what a D6 system does is it makes that +1 very important.
Yeah.
And it makes +2 amazing.
Yeah. Also, could you imagine playing a Con and Rock with D10s?
Dear God.
Good Lord.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you would need dice rolling apps.
Yeah. Oh,
But we don't need it, do we? We don't need it, do we?
I
Bill.
should call you out.
Moving on.
Oh, I want to call you out
Do
so
it, Bill. I ain't
bad.
scared.
I won't.
Yeah.
We'll see how we go moving forward. Elric used a dice app.
Yeah, I did.
Anyway.
I did.
Let's get back to Soulbound because it's
right.
cool. I mean, it's all right.
Wow.
As these millennial role-playing games go, it's okay.
All right. Okay, Boomer. Sorry we're not all playing Traveler.
I don't see why not. I mean, what's wrong with that?
I'll tell you right now, if you can't die during character creation, it's not a real RPG.
It's not a real game.
God.
Okay. So it would probably behoove us to actually talk about what a character sort of consists of. And if you look at the character sheet, it's rather simple.
Yeah.
It's rather easy. You have 3 main stats.
Mind, body, and soul.
Yeah, which is so freaking... Oh, God. It just made me want to puke. Really did.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, I know. It's all streamlined and easy to access.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, here's your mind. You're so smart, and here's your body. Oh, but here's your soul, too. So we're going to give you soul points, and we're going to give you doom points, and we're going to give you soul points. Yay, because your soul is so nice.
Oh, Bill.
I'm trying to be the bad cop, and I really don't have much to work with.
I like it. Because before we started recording, you were like, yeah, I'm not a big fan, blah, 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 blah. And now the more you talk about it, the more you're slowly getting more and more excited about the game.
I totally love the game. I really do. I was just trying to egg everybody on. You know that.
I know.
I'm trolling. So, yeah, those are the 3 main stats are body, mind, and soul. And then there is a list of, let me see.
I believe it's 9.
24 skills.
Oh, I mean the attributes.
Oh, yeah, the remainder of the attributes. Now, from those main stats, you generate a bunch of different attributes, like your defense, your attacks, or, your melee, your wounds, and those things. And a lot of it is add up your stats and divide by 2, or add up your stats and divide by 3. Yeah, from that, you basically generate all the different numbers that you need. Your initiative, your armor, your metal, your toughness, your wounds, all come from different manipulations of those 3 numbers. And again, this is where the Stormcast that have higher base numbers actually come out to be better overall. But again, they'll be absorbing the arrows and the shots. So, yeah, it's kind of fun. Now then, like I said, there's, 24 different skills that you can train up in. And, of course, add to that, you can have different talents. Now, the skills are actually the things that you can train and devote focus to. So that's where you get a lot of your ability to move things around and to change how you go, how you work. There's another thing that you have, which is called metal, which for a lot of characters is... like for spell casting, you're going to have a certain amount of metal for doing different miracles, which are spells, and things. So the metal mechanic is very important. You get, I think it's 1 metal back every turn. You spend them to do different things, and we won't go into each thing that you can spend them for, but basically you can monkey around with stuff with your metal points. But like spellcasters need it to cast different spells. It's what keeps them from just dominating and slinging spells until they're blue in the face. Yeah. But you do get a point back every turn. There's other mechanics that affect all that stuff. combat is really quite simple. It's you basically compare your melee. Is it melee?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, melee or ranged.
Yeah, melee or ranged with theirs to see, and it's going to generate what you need success-wise to hit them and do damage.
Yep.
And when you hit, you do damage. Yay! So
Yeah, and armor reduces that amount of damage.
it's kind of a soak type armor system where, depending on what armor you have, and if you're Sylvaneth, very cool mechanic, you have built-in armor.
Yeah.
Duh. And I believe you start with 2 armor, but as you take hits, that armor comes off, as opposed to other people's.
Yeah.
But then you regenerate it when you rest. So that's kind of cool. It's like,
yeah, Sylvaneth are pretty cool.
you have this image of, the trees getting chopped down and, we won. So you can grow new bark now.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They have the ability to communicate with anybody in the realm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some wild stuff, man.
It's. I think they did a really interesting job of capturing the different archetypes.
Yeah.
And, the archetypes fit into their races. So the Sylvaneth are Sylvaneth. The hags and the witches are daughters of Cain. Mm-hmm. They do that sort of thing. And, of course, Stormcast, they're going to be dumber than freaking rocks. But they're going to do whatever Thigmar does.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So, like I said, anybody that plays a Stormcast is a...
Surprised you haven't hit the button yet.
Which one?
You know the one.
Oh, I know the one. You should yeah.
Stormcast are cool. That's the one.
Aren't they, though? So, but that's basically what a character looks like. Now, like I said before, when you make a party, you're going to set short-term goals and long-term goals. You do the same thing with your character. You set short and long-term goals, and you work with the DM on that. You don't just say, my goal is to walk 20 miles. Yay. I'm going to get an experience point when that's done. You work with the DM to define what your goals are going to be, short and long-term, and then he or she, is going to give you experience based on when you finish goals, both personal and party goals. So there's a little bit of that, free-form sort of storytelling experience system rather than, okay, so we killed 2 orcs and a goblin, so we get 18 experience points. Yay! It's more story driven. You have to accomplish things to get experience, which is kind of cool. So, but again, a very inelegant design choice, I must say. You're giving me that look like.
Well, I think it's also, I might be a little jaded because I've been doing RPGs for a very, very long time. I've been running them, been playing in them. And when I read that whole mechanic of how that's how you get experiences with short and long-term goals, both individual and party-based ones, the first thing that pops into my head is like all the less than fun people I've had in my groups and how they would try to game that system. Oh, yeah. In a desperate attempt to generate experience so they can make their character better than everyone else's.
Right.
So, yeah, my heart goes out to people that have parties like that.
Well, and that's the thing is it goes back to how you GM a game like this. If you're too easy with their goals, I mean, if you let them set a goal of, I want to cook breakfast for everyone in the morning, and then you give them an experience for that, well, then when you have a runaway campaign, you brought it on yourself. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but you did that. Don't blame the system.
It's going to require a lot of communication between players and players with each other.
Yes.
As well as with the GM.
Yes.
So, which, if you got the right people, man, that's really what you want.
Oh, yeah.
As players to be able to be open about what they want to do. And then it even talks about how you can have secret goals and how you should let the GM know about those, how they can kind of align themselves with what the party wants to do, but you kind of put your own spin on it and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, the party goal might be to destroy the ring of ickiness.
Right.
Whereas the
personal goal is to keep it.
Yeah, the Fire Slayer might be like, I could melt that down from my runes, so maybe I want to take it.
Yeah, technically we destroyed it.
Yeah, technically it's
but
not.
now I'm evil and powerful. Whatever. I mean,
so yeah, I mean, there's so many. The game structure is basically designed around forcing you to role play your character, and hopefully get rid of some of that min-maxing. You know?
Not just being a character sheet that you roll dice at.
Yeah, exactly. So, I kind of. I dig a lot of the systems. I think a lot of them are weak. But they'll definitely, it'll be fun. It will definitely be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to running it.
Yeah.
And as that progresses, we'll definitely talk about what happens on the show.
Oh, for sure.
We can have a little segment, Soulbound segment.
Yeah.
Because I do too. This honestly, this RPG dropped at the perfect time.
I think if it had dropped 4 weeks ago, that would have been the perfect time.
Well, yeah.
Now it feels to me like a lot of things are starting to ramp back up again.
Sure.
And it's going to be crazy. So, yeah.
But it definitely gives people stuff to read right now, because there's still a lot of people that have to stay home. There's a lot of people that have to stay home because they're unemployed now, which sucks.
Oh, yeah, or they're watching kids because school's out.
Exactly.
And, all kinds of stuff like that, yeah.
And now that we're at a point where technology allows us to communicate online a little better, doing online role-playing with each other is definitely a thing that's doable. So
For sure. I like it.
Yeah.
And then you get into skills and talents and miracles. Miracles are just substitute the word spell, and you pretty much know how that works.
Yeah, miracles are with spells. Miracles are what war priests and whatnot do.
Well, they kind of call them all miracles. These miracles of the Ether Sea. Let me see here. Miracles of Grimnir.
Yeah.
Miracles of Cain are what the daughters use. So it's a broad-ranging, and of course the miracles of Sigmar are much, much better than everyone else's.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
Play an Excelsior War Priest then.
Huh?
Play an Excelsior War Priest.
No way.
Wow.
Gosh. Anyway.
Wow.
The system is really quite interesting. You have a channeling skill, and you basically have to succeed in that, so you won't be able to fling them around willy-nilly. But you're not going to be a first-level D&D mage that goes, doink, okay, I'm done for this combat. So, you're going to have options, since you are getting metal back at the beginning of every turn.
Yeah.
So, and the skill system, like I said, everything revolves around those tests, where you basically roll your dice pool, trying to beat a certain number, equal or beat a certain number with a certain number of successes. And of course, that is if it's unopposed. If it's opposed, the other guy is doing the exact same thing, trying to beat your number of successes. And whoever has more success wins.
Yeah.
So, and you can also, there's a mechanic in there for helping someone. So if the little, I was going to say Fire Slayer dude, but they're pretty strong. But yeah, if the little Dark Oath, the witch is trying to open a barred door, yeah, the Fire Slayer might have to come over and, give it a hand.
Sure.
Help a little. Then you have a chapter on equipment, which, once again, geez, if you're a Stormcast, you don't need anything because you come equipped with it already.
Wow. Wow. So salty.
Stormcast are cool.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
There's a very interesting thing in the equipment section where there's a whole section that's only for Caradron Overlords.
Yeah. Yeah, which is so awesome. I love that. There's also one for the Fire Slayers, too.
Yeah. Yep.
For just their runes.
It's really kind of, again, it goes back to making the flavor of that race become apparent in the role-playing aspect of it. This is how they are different. Your average Fire Slayer is far, far different from the Dwarden that you run across in the world, just poking around.
Yeah.
So there's definitely that feeling of you are different. You are something cool. And, the very essence of the game, Soulbound, you are a Soulbound team when you start the role-playing game. You are different. You are called together for a higher purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the book goes on to the mechanics of the game. I don't think we should break down into the mechanics, do you? I mean, we've covered the tests, but...
How does swimming work?
Well,
How does climbing work? How does healing... No, I'm just kidding.
I'll go to attack and defend. If you want to attack, you make the attack action. If you want to defend, you make the defend action. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
You just defend. But there's retreating and shoving, and you can seize initiative, and you can do all kinds of different things. Now, one thing about combat in this game is it's based around zones, and I found their text at the beginning of the combat to be very condescending. It basically reads, "We know you're too stupid to figure out actual movement in inches and, to actually set up combats. So we're just going to do this zone and range combat thing. So it'll make it easier for you."
Wow.
Which basically means they didn't want to write a section of the rules on, how to do combat based on movement. So let's go theater of the mind because it's way easier and it's a huge cop-out. We can save,
Really?
2 days worth of writing. Yeah. Yeah, I shoot my bow at oh, sorry, he's in the wrong range band. Wait a minute. A minute ago, he was like right there. Oh, yeah, no, he changed range bands. Sorry. You mean he ran 700 feet? Yeah, he changed the band. Okay, sure he did. Thank you. Then when it's his turn, all of a sudden, oh, yeah, no, he moved back. He's in range to shoot you, though.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Now, is that similar to... Because I actually didn't see that part. They talk about the range bands.
Well, it's zones. They call them zones.
Okay, what page is that on?
136. So, yeah, page 136, distance and movement. In combat, knowing the position of your allies and enemies helps you gauge the situation and make vital decisions. Tracking exact position and distance with a lot of combatants can often be cumbersome. So to handle this, Soulbound uses abstract zones and ranges, i.e. you're too stupid to figure out where your people are, coming from a game like Age of Sigmar where you measure everything in inches and making sure you're positioned correctly. So, yeah, we'll use zones.
Yeah, I got to say I am not a fan of that whatsoever because the old 3rd edition Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay did that kind of stuff too. And I always found it to be really difficult to keep track of where people were in regards to other people and how that affected modifiers and all that stuff.
Well, and one thing I've always found with that sort of theater of the mind combat system, and I mean, they do show examples in here of drawing up maps and delineating what the zones are. So you can actually work within that, and it's very adaptable to a real, honest to God, map setup. I'm not gonna dog them for that. I was just kidding about all that.
I'm not.
Okay, I'm not. But it basically allows the min-maxers, the jackass role players, to basically say, "Oh no! I was actually over here. Remember, I sort of said I was moving."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they're where they need to be, and in reality, they're not. So generally, I always have them fall into a bubbling pool of lava. But it's one of those. You have to be careful with that kind of person that likes to play the game like that. But their zone system. You can kind of see on page 137, they kind of show a map that actually represents where you're fighting. It's just split into zones rather than, a hex grid or a square grid. So I feel like it's infinitely adaptable, and you can go back to a real movement system or, a real inch-based or what have you movement system with very little difficulty.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe they'll come out with an expansion later, a combat expansion that...
Well, I think one of the first things you're going to see from the community is a tactical combat system because this game basically screams Warcry combat. Anyone?
Oh,
you know, and I mean, it's so easily portable.
Yeah.
It's almost like they had something like that in mind.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Nice. Well,
What else you got? Talk to me.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm very interested to see what comes next.
Oh, my gosh. You know, like you said, seeing an adventure come out and seeing what they script or what they throw out as this is how we feel it should go is going to be so nice because it's going to give you basically something to deviate from. You know, it's going to give you a framework with which to depart.
Yeah. It's, you know, and they have stats for a mock rush. So
Well, who knew?
I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, they have a lot of interesting monsters at the end. Again, the lore section of this book is tremendous. The Mortal Realms section begins on page 160, and basically the rest of the book that isn't monsters is the Mortal Realms, and they go into the different realms, and they go into the cities, and of course they're setting this thing in the Great Parch of Ekshi. So there's a very detailed map. It's a beautiful map. I love maps, but that one is just so well done. I'm very happy. Very happy.
Just the Mortal Realms themselves alone add the ability to add so much more. Right? They could just do a whole expansion that's a section in Gyran.
Oh, yeah.
Or Gur.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know, and
they will have no end of the opportunities
Right.
to flesh out. And, you know, if they flesh out 100 miles of Gyran, who cares? There's like 1.5 billion more miles of it to do your own thing in.
Sure.
So, you know, it's kind of like the Wrath and Glory where, okay, make up a planet. There's 1 billion more out there that haven't been touched. So go have fun.
Exactly. Yeah, you know, and I remember having this feeling about the Warhammer Fantasy roleplay was like, oh, they could do a whole expansion about elves and a whole expansion about dwarves and all this stuff, and then they never got around to it because that game just didn't really take off, I don't think, the way it was supposed to. But I'm hoping this is successful because the Mortal Realms, man, you can do anything you can think of.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
So,
And that's the thing is this is where you're going to see creativity. As I was looking through all this thing, my mind kept coming back to Silver Tower. Silver Tower.
Yeah.
And if you have the 2 Silver Tower games set in AoS, you have an incredible array of stuff to put on the table to represent all kinds of things that you're talking about. And it's just, you know, one of the things that really bothered me about that zone combat system was you have a game. And I understand that not everybody coming into the game is going to be from AoS.
Sure.
But a huge chunk of your patronage is. And the miniatures are all out there. It's not like we all have to go buy a Stormcast or buy, you know, we have these things coming out of our backsides. So painting up one to be my character is going to be super simple. Give me a system to use that in tactical combat.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
But again, I also understand that there's a lot to be said for that zone system because it does make things easier. It lessens the prep time for the GM. You basically just look at your map and go zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5. And zone 5 is X amount from zone 3. And, you know, it makes calculating everything a lot easier, and it folds right into their combat system very, very easily. But, again, it would also fold in very easily to a more standard gridded structure very simply. And I'm sure there's going to be 15 different systems out by Monday, tomorrow, you know.
Yeah.
And it's fine. You know, I like a lot of the homebrew stuff that comes up around stuff like this. the sheer volume of what they put out in this book makes it worthwhile for any narrative player, anybody who's RPG curious, hell, anybody that's into AoS at all. There's something in this book that will appeal.
Yeah, definitely.
And most importantly, starting on page 219 is Edasa, where you can learn all about the Lions of Edasa. And I swear to God, that is an army that I want to collect. I swear.
I've seen rumbles on Twitter about that.
Because they were so cool in the Gortrek book. That character was so cool, that Lions of Edasa guy. And he's, of course, makes a comeback. So, because I think he was so cool. And everybody really dug that character. And it wasn't just me. I thought maybe it was. But then, talked to Ryan, and he was like, yeah, that guy was so cool, and I'm going to do Lions of Edasa. Yeah. So now it's all fleshed out, and we can kind of look. It's only one page. Well, it's half a page, but more Edasa. Nice. So overall, what would you give it?
Scale of 1 to 10.
Sure.
Initial reaction based off no games played. I give it like a 7.
Really?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. So much of a role-playing game comes out when you start playing it and see how the mechanics actually work.
It's true. See how it flows together.
Yeah, so, but I'm also really excited because this is a setting that we've been wanting to play in, and it fleshes out more of Age of Sigmar, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm very excited. I'd imagine the more we play it, the more that number would go up.
Yeah.
So.
I'm going to go on a limb here.
Okay.
I'm going to give it out of 10, going to give it a strong 3. No. No, I'm kidding. Remember? Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually am going to jump out and give it a 9 right off the bat.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a good enough system. The framework is there to do anything you want to do. If it's not in the book, you can adapt what is in the book so easily to what you want to do, what you envision in your head, either as a character or as a GM. The system, the overall play system is super simple, that you can teach anyone the basic mechanic of the game in about 5 minutes. And then they can work on the role-playing aspects, the fleshing out the character, and not have to be bogged down with, well, my character has a 37 in this, so that gives me a modifier of +7, but in this situation where the lights are off, it's only a +4. No, we don't have any of that stuff. So, and then when you fold into that, the amazing production quality, and I literally cannot wait to get the book because it's going to be so smelly and so beautiful.
Yeah.
That, oh God, I can't wait. And they have me, once again, it's Cubicle 7, I hate you and I love you. So, well, I mean, because it takes them so long to do stuff.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, also, I give them a strong 9 because some of the playtesters are people we know. And I happen to believe that these guys would do the right stuff. And they've played it extensively, most likely, and it works. So that's why I'm willing to give them. Eric playtested this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He sure did. So, Mortal Realms, Eric.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was one of the playtesters. So, I mean, if it basically has his stamp of approval, I will say, who am I to argue?
Yeah, just be a good little lemming.
Yeah, just follow along. If more people would just do what the government says, it'd be a better world.
There you go.
How's that shot working out? You got that bleach up there yet? Okay. So have we beat up Soulbound enough?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Does that make you feel gooder?
It makes me feel gooder.
Okay, so we were going to do the Temporal Distort, but let's hold that off till the next time we record. Will that still be in May? Yes. Let's hold off the Temporal Distort because we've gone pretty long. However, I do want to mention two things. Well, we already mentioned one of them, the James Workshop video.
Sure.
I do want to mention that the White Dwarf issue 453 has hit the streets, and this is a good thing. So, shut up. You know I'm going to edit all this out, right?
Sure you are.
Okay. Not that part.
Stormcaster, cool. God.
So, White Dwarf 453, if you are interested in OCR Bone Reapers, grab it. Because Volkmortian's Tithe Legion is in there. It's kind of an interesting twist on the OCR Bone Reaper sort of motif.
Cool.
They have a new Rules of Engagement from Jervis Johnson. That was kind of an interesting, I don't want to say kind of. It was an interesting read because it goes back to thoughts on the game design process and dice and how they interact. So, very, very kind of cool. They work a little bit more on their campaign, that War for Hellust. There's a little bit more stuff on there for that. And then, of course, the War Cry, Tale of Four War Bands is there. There's a bunch of 40K stuff, which is kind of cool. Gee, go figure. The Apocrypha Indomitus is there. Talks a little bit more about the Indomitus Crusade and fleshes that whole thing out, the Guilliman Crusade, to stabilize the Imperium.
Nice.
The rotting husk the Imperium of Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they have a cool little thing about creating a monster. Maxime Pastorel goes over Thraka, Gazgul Thraka, and their thought processes and their approach to making that model gorgeous. Just
nice.
gorgeous.
I'll read that.
Mm-hmm. It's very good. They do some really good painting. If in the OCR section, they have a neat little painting thing on painting Bone Reapers again. Still more. And then in the paint splatter, more stuff for Khorne. So, how to do blood. How to do more blood. Then there's some stuff for Blackstone and Beastgrave and some Middle-earth. The Middle-earth strategy battle game stuff is a battle report for the Rohan stuff. Oh, it's very, very good. It's so cool. More Necromunda stuff. Very good issue of White Dwarf. 453 cool. Is. And welcome to have something that rekindled that, it's honestly been a while since had something to sink your teeth into.
Yeah, definitely.
That was new, So, yeah, it was a lot of fun to get that and read through it. So anything else before we sign off?
I think that's it. 90 episodes, Bill.
90.
Wow.
That's at least every 2 weeks for, 3 years now? Over 3 years?
I think it's like 3.5 years we've been doing this.
Mm-hmm. That's scary. That is really scary because we just had our 4th Facebook anniversary. Don't you remember the other day you posted that?
Oh, yeah.
You've been friends on Facebook for 4 years.
And that means we've been doing this show for 4 years.
Yeah, right about that. Because
when is it?
We started the show. Oh, my God. We started it in June, didn't we? We're coming up on our 4-year anniversary.
I'm trying to think if it'll show on the first, if we can still look at that.
Should be able to. Hang on. Let's go to podcasts.
See all episodes. There we go. All the way back. Episode 1 dropped June 17th.
Holy crap.
2016.
So that's a month and a week. Oh, wow. We've been doing this a while. And we still only have 12 listeners. Wow.
Die-hard listeners.
I'm telling you what.
I want to take a moment to say thank you to the 12 bots that took one for the team we got assigned to auto-downloading this.
I do love it. So,
yeah.
All right. So let's on that bombshell. Let's call it a day.
Sounds good.
All right.
Stormcaster, cool.
If you would like to get in touch with us, you can reach us at our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/rollingbadpodcast, all one word. Our Patreon page is at www.patreon.com/rollingbadpodcast. Again, all one word. The Twitter account for the show is at rolling_bad. And our individual Twitters are, for me, at Bill Castello, BILLCASTELLO. And for Elric, it's at Elric Edge, ELRICEDGE. All of our guests on the show will have their contact information in that show's show notes. The music in the show is used courtesy of Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com and used under the Creative Commons license. The Rolling Bad podcast is protected under the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. Information for this license can be found at creativecommons.org.